No claw marks, no blood in the snow, no sign of a struggle at all. Just a man found frozen inside his own cabin, the door bolted tight, a neat stack of firewood beside a cold hearth. His rifle sat loaded and untouched. The fire had burned all night, and that fire is what killed him. Not the wolves outside, not the bear he feared, his own hearth. He never even woke up. How does a seasoned frontiersman, a man who could track game for miles and outlast any blizzard, die 3 feet from a warm fire in a cabin he built himself? The answer isn't in the wilderness. It's in a belief so simple that nearly every settler carried it into the mountains like a loaded gun aimed the wrong way. Picture the American frontier in the dead of winter. A single-room cabin, chinked with mud and moss, buried in a valley where the snow climbs past the windowsill. Inside lives a trapper, call him Amos, broad-shouldered, cracked hands, a beard stiff with frost. He has survived 15 winters out here. He knows which berries poison and which ridgelines slide. He fears the things every mountain man fears: the grizzly, the wolf pack, the frozen river that swallows a man whole. So he builds his walls thick and his fire hot. Every evening he splits wood, feeds the flames, and bolts the door against the cold and the beasts. The fire is his cook, his light, his heartbeat in the dark. And here is the thing about Amos and thousands like him. He believes one comforting lie deep in his bones. Wood is wood. If it burns, it's good. He grabs whatever will catch: a rotted log gone soft with mold, a green branch cut that morning, a piece of driftwood hauled up from the creek mouth. It all makes heat. Why would the fire that saves your life ever turn against you? But not all wood burns the same, and some of it fights back. That soft, rotten log breeds mold that rides the smoke into your lungs. That green branch is half water. It can't burn clean, so it smolders, flooding the room with fine soot and choking carbon monoxide. Colorless, odorless, deadly. The driftwood is soaked with sea salt that releases toxic, corrosive fumes. And God help the man who burns poison ivy or oleander. Their smoke carries urushiol and heart-stopping poisons into the airway. Think of a fire like an animal. Feed it dry hardwood, and it breathes easy. Feed it wet or poisoned wood, and it chokes, exhaling its sickness into the room. An experienced hand tests his wood. He hefts it. Dry wood feels light, while damp wood carries a heavy, sodden weight. He knocks two pieces together, listening for a sharp crack, not a dull thud, and reads the ends for splits that mean it's seasoned. Amos did none. He never dried his wood the 6 months it needs, and sealed every crack, locking the heat in and the fresh air out. The last night began like 1,000 before. 30 below, the cold that cracks trees like gunshots. Amos loaded the stove with a fat, half-rotten log and a green branch still wet at the core. The flames sat low and sullen, orange instead of clean blue-white. The smoke curled back into the room, gray, then black, the warning color. But the chimney was clogged, the draft dead. By 9 came the headache, dull behind his eyes. By 10, the dizziness, the room tilting when he stood. Then the nausea, and a heavy, syrupy fatigue pulling at his eyelids. His body screaming. He heard none. Just the cold, he thought, and lay down. The poison didn't rage. It crept. With every slow breath, the carbon monoxide slid deeper into his blood, latching on, crowding out the oxygen his brain begged for. His heart raced, trying to pump air that wasn't there. His breathing turned shallow. The headache became a vice. But he was already too far into sleep to feel it. His limbs went heavy. His fingers, curled near the warm iron of the stove, fell slack. The fire burned lower. The haze thickened, blue and sweet and silent. Outside, the wind howled and the snow kept falling, piling against the door, sealing the cabin tighter with every hour. No pain, no struggle, no desperate scramble for the latch. Just a man sinking through sleep into something deeper, while the fire he had trusted his whole life breathed death into the room. One warm, quiet lungful at a time. Near dawn, the last ember died. The cold crept back through the walls, and there was no one left awake to feed the fire or to feel it go. They found men like Amos every spring when the melt came, and neighbors rode out to check. A trapper slumped cold beside his stove, the wood stacked neat, the door still barred from the inside. A young homesteader and his wife in their bed, the baby tucked between them, all three gone without a mark. In one valley, a father and his two sons found around a hearth still full of half-burned driftwood, the strange blue-green flames long dead. No wounds, no robbery. Nothing that made sense to people who believed only claws and cold could kill a strong man. And that was the cruelest part. They had done everything right. They had kept the fire burning. They had sealed out the wilderness and sealed the killer in with them. We will never know the true number. Deaths like these were written off as exposure, as bad luck, as simply the cold, because no one understood the invisible gas for decades to come. But carbon monoxide, born from wet wood, rotten wood, and choked, smoldering fires, almost certainly claimed more lives across those long frontier winters than every bear and wolf attack combined. It is a strong likelihood, not a counted statistic. The records blamed the weather. It took modern science to finally name the killer, and modern chimneys, ventilation, and carbon monoxide detectors to tame it. The mountain men spent their whole lives sharpening their aim at the wrong enemy. The most dangerous myths are never the wild ones. They are the comfortable ones. The beliefs so obvious that nobody thinks to question them. Wood is wood. Fire is safe. Those men trusted the flame at their feet far more than the wilderness at their door, and the flame never once looked like a threat. It only glowed and warmed and waited. Sometimes the thing that keeps you alive and the thing that quietly kills you are the very same fire.